Hey, this is Wayne Pierce for Wayne S. Pierce for my website, waynesPierce.com. Lots of things going on today. Lots of wonderful things going on today. There's lots of stuff in the news. And I just want to mention that, just a highlight as to what's been going on. And we all see, here's the difference between independent media and mainstream propaganda media. That's what I want to talk about. I'm not going to go into the headlines. I mean, you see it. So here's the difference. Mainstream propaganda media, been around for, decades and all that. They understand how to form their concepts to disseminate that information to the general public. They know this. They understand this. The military-industrial complex that Eisenhower talked about in the 60s and warned us about literally knew this going into his presidency. Okay? He knew this. Now, when we hear these mainstream propaganda media people talk about what's going on in our world and, sports, entertainment, whatever, we tend to be drawn in by their pleasurable way of presenting it. And they never touch upon the real issues. They'll get to a certain point and then they won't cross the line because they don't want to get into any truth, any facts, anything that is going to cause, the people that run the network to fire them. They're trying to save their jobs. So they just go along to get along. And the difference between them and the independent media is we don't care. We operate on an independent platform. From, we some of us have sponsors, some of us don't. And we get the truth out there. We spend hours and hours behind the scenes finding the information. Sifting through the media bullcrap, the propagandist bullcrap that's out there. And we get to the real issues. We talk about the real issues. That's the difference between mainstream propaganda and independent media. Okay. Now, you might think, well, in the mainstream, the networks, they have to put stuff on there that's going to get you to listen to their program. Well, that's true. That's all true. They'll suck you in, and then they'll engage in what's called neuro-linguistic programming. Why do you think they call every show on TV programming? Neuro-linguistic programming. Look that up, startpage.com. You'll get into, things saying it's a conspiracy theory, it's this, it's that, it's what. No. It's straight out of the military-industrial complex. Go look it up. So, I wanted to mention that to lead in to this subject. Conspiracy theories. There aren't any. It was a term made up by the propaganda media after the Warren Commission came out and discussed their findings from the Kennedy murder, from the President John F. Kennedy's murder. And in the early 70s, the propaganda media was saying it's a conspiracy theory and people are talking about, having more than one shooter. And, of course, there was. It's come out here recently. Now, conspiracy theories, at its core, is a conspiracy, or I should say is a theory of those conspiring to do something nefarious against the people, I don't care what country you're in. That's what it is. That's the core of what it is. But the fact of the matter is, it's not a theory anymore. It's pure, unadulterated fact. The government is conspiring with higher-ups that run the government, that control money-wise, economic, political, religious, all that area. Those control the federal government of Washington, D.C. They are conspiring against, those two entities are conspiring against the citizens of the United States of America to destroy the United States of America and to enslave the population. Why? Because we are the only free country in the world. We are the only country in the world that allows its people to do what they need to do, i.e., follow their conscience, develop their own businesses, own private land. But here's where Washington, D.C. and the federal government of America get you. You don't own the land that's underneath your house. You're paying rent every year called property taxes. So you don't own a thing. The bank owns your house for at least 30 years of a mortgage that you pay. So you don't own anything except the clothes on your back. And then you aren't supporting the people in America by buying the clothes on your back. You're supporting foreign governments. So this is where the federal government of Washington, D.C., of the United States of America get people. In other words, the federal government in Washington, D.C. specifically wants their finger in everybody's pie. Anytime anyone creates something to develop a business of their own, to be entrepreneurial, there we go, the government comes in and says, well, we understand that you want to do this, but we're going to take at least 25 to 45% of everything that you have in taxes, in fees, in application fees, and all of this. And every year we're going to, tax you a certain amount under certain business taxes. This is where the 35 to 65% of the taxes come in for businesses. Now, why is that? And how does this relate to conspiracy theories? It's really simple. The federal government, Washington, D.C., and the people that control them, which is all these big business elite people that make billions and billions of dollars a year worldwide, they're wanting more money. And they're wanting to enslave the people of America. Why? To support their businesses, of course. So how do you get slaves without just going onto the streets and kidnapping them, which has happened in the past? You tax the crap out of them. Taxation is theft. That is the core belief of the patriots of the United States of America. Taxation is theft, considering that only maybe a half, not even a third, of the states signed the amendment to tax people. But then again, it's already in the Constitution that, it's taxation, by all. Go read the Constitution. It's in there. Taxation is theft. If you make $1, the government, Washington, D.C., through its enforcers called the Internal Revenue Service, want to take at least 35% of that dollar. They don't, but they want to. They can't because people like us are going, we're not going to put up with that crap. Here's what you're going to do. And so, yeah, they basically, the IRS is the enforcer. They come and get the money. The Federal Reserve is the one, which is not federal and it's not a reserve. It has nothing to do with the federal government. They want our money. 6 groups. And the heads of those groups, from what I found out, own the Federal Reserve. 2 of them are prominent people all over the world, which is the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. And others. And the head of the Federal Reserve is a globalist. So this all plays into the conspiracy theories that are out there. This all plays into the hand of the elites. Because for years and years and years and years and years and years, people were saying it's only a conspiracy theory that there's a shadow government. Newsflash, the shadow government is out of the shadows and telling you exactly what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, and why. And it's been happening for the last little over a year. Because nobody wanted Donald J. Trump as president. But a whole lot more people didn't want Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders as president. And people are pissed off at the fact that the Electoral College, which is not an electoral board or is an elected board, and it's not a college, had determined that the votes that came in were for Donald Trump. And now the Democrats are all pissed off at that fact because they said it was rigged. Well, it's come out in the last several weeks that, number one, Hillary Clinton was in collusion with the Russians and paid a former MI6 agent for fake dossier on Trump. Fake dossier on Trump. She's trying it again. And that she threw Bernie Sanders under the bus and basically wanted to take over the Democratic Party and the DNC. It's all been out there right now. She's a criminal. That's what it is. There's no conspiracy theory about it. That's what it is. Complete and utter fact. You can go look it up. I mean, conspiracy theories are built upon preconceived ideas and fill in the blank moments. Pretty much like when people accuse me of, doing whatever it is they think I've done. Conspiracy theories are based on nothing. They're based on disinformation, false information. There's no theory about it anymore. Okay, I'm going to go as far as saying in the last 20 years, we've known that there is no such thing as a conspiracy theory. It's all been fact. I mean, people started hearing about Bill Clinton when he was president of the United States and Mena, Arkansas, where Colombia and other drug cartels were slipping into Arkansas with their planes and unloading drugs. We didn't find that out until shortly before he got out of office. And nobody did anything about it. It was a conspiracy theory that Vince Foster died of a suicide. Well, interestingly enough, all the evidence had pointed to the fact that his body was moved, placed into his car in the park, and somebody found him. He was part of the Clinton administration when Clinton was governor of Arkansas. And some other things as well, because he was an attorney with Hillary Clinton and all this. So there was a whole bunch of stuff to look at in that. But isn't it mysterious that people would call it a conspiracy theory when everything that we in the independent media and alternative media turn out to be absolutely 100% true and factual? The Democratic Party is crumbling just because of its internal corruption. The Republican Party the same way. They're just the fringes of the Democratic and Republican parties are just eating itself toward the inside. And then you have the inside groups of Republicans and Democrats eating their way out because they're starting to throw people under the bus left and right, is what I'm saying. And so, how do you resolve that? And it's pretty simple if you think about it. Don't go away, folks. I shall return. WayneSPierce.com is the website. Go check that out. If you want to support the American Liberty Radio Network, you can go to patreon.com/American Liberty Radio. And, help out the network. I'll give you more stuff once a week like this. And, and my American Liberty Radio Network podcast every day, Monday through Saturday. And I'll come back. We'll talk more about that. Be right back right after this. American Liberty Radio Network.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I am wondering, why are you here? Do or do not. There is no try. Do, there is no try. Do or do not. There is no try. I am wondering, why are you here?
Create your own podcast. Spreaker.com has it all. Set up your account and get ready to record podcasts or host live radio shows from your computer or mobile device. Spreaker's wide range of tools covers every step of the podcasting process, from simple recording and broadcasting apps to analytics on your audience. You can upload files or migrate content over using the RSS importer. Host your show today. For more information, go to Spreaker.com. Hey, you folks, welcome back. This is Wayne S. Pierce for American Liberty Radio Network, and this is for my website, WayneSPierce.com. It's going into some things there, before the break. Let me go off in another direction here. I talked about conspiracy theories, so let me finish up my point. Let me finish with another point, not just the one I made before the break, but another point. When we look at people in the independent media, in the alternative media, we have to ask ourselves, and this is something I ask myself almost on a daily basis, it's like, what piece of information, even in the independent alternative media, is disinformation? Now, that just causes us to diligently work that much harder to find out whether or not, number one, it is, and number two, where it came from. And then that way, we can give to you the proper and accurate and factual information. So, we need to ask ourselves in the independent media and alternative media, even with the information we have within the independent alternative media, even with that information, how much of it is disinformation? How many of these so-called independent, patriotic, alternative media outlets are seriously for the American people and are not disinformation agents? Okay? There are some people. Now, I also have to say this in regards to that, after we question it, after we look and after we see and all of that, it's not like we are going to, hate on on alternative media personality. We're just going to hold them accountable. We're going to have them there, but we're going to say, the information that you shared from this particular website or this document or whatever is nothing but disinformation. Here's why, and I have the information to prove that. But then again, we don't have to hate on these people. We just need to go, you know what? Here's what else I found out. It's not that we need to go, see, you're wrong. It's that we need to go, hey, did you catch this information in your research? That's all we have to do. We don't have to hate them. We don't have to, make fun of them. We don't have to do any of that. We just have to go, hey, I found out some more information. Here you go. Instead of, sitting there and making fun of them and, because I can make fun of Michael Savage all day long. I can make fun of Alex Jones all day long. But I won't. I won't, because the information that I may find through my investigation and research into what they're saying, if I find anything additional or that I think might help them, I'm going to give it to them. I'm not going to sit there and make fun of them. That's kind of, I know we like to have gallows humor every once in a while, but, Can it be, though? Can it be that some of the information we have is disinformation? Is what I'm asking in the alternative media. Which then would lend the hand to supporting a theory in our, in our revealing the fact that none of it's a conspiracy theory. You see what I'm saying? Here, let me break that down a little simpler for you. 1 + 1 is 2. Everybody knows that. Hold up 2 fingers. Count them. 1, 2. 1 + 1 is 2. Interesting, isn't it? Why is it interesting? Because that's a fact. There's no conspiracy behind that. There's no filling in the blanks. There's no, you could be wrong because. No. 1 + 1 is 2. That's it. Simple. A blue Volkswagen is a blue Volkswagen. No. Just no. It's it. There you go. I don't give a crap if it's a light blue or if it's a sky blue or if it's I don't care. It's blue. Okay? And here's and using that Volkswagen analogy, metaphor. It's a metaphor. Using that, I want to say this. We can look at that blue Volkswagen Beetle and say, that's a beautiful blue. Let's go check that car out. I can be standing on one side and you can be standing on the other and say it's the most magnificent car you have ever seen. But I'm standing on the other side of the car seeing a couple of dents in the quarter panel. I'm seeing a mirror with a crack in it. There's a scratch on the door, but you're standing on your side of it saying it's fantastic, It's called perspective. Think about that, folks. I've mentioned this before. Perspective. Just stand right there in the room, look straight ahead. Don't move your eyes or head or anything. Just stand at attention, you former soldiers. You know what I'm saying. Don't look anywhere. Just look straight ahead. That's your perspective. That's that particular perspective. What you see from your peripheral, from your focal point, that's what you see. And that's it until you start to move. Move your head, move your eyes, move your body, turn around, dance a jig, whatever you want to do. But it's all in the perspective. It's all in the perspective. What people put in your perspective is what you perceive. What people shove into your focal point is what you will see. And they will shove all sorts of stuff in there to try to make you believe whatever it is they want you to believe. Once you turn your head, once you find a new perspective, once you take yourself out of that subjective nature and bring yourself into a more objective platform, then you'll begin to see all the cracks, all the problems. You'll begin to see that you'll begin to see the truth and the facts of the mainstream propagandists. And you'll begin to see how much they lie, how much they cheat, how much they fill in the blanks, how much they develop those foundations of what they have created to be a conspiracy theory. That's all that is. Has nothing to do with anything else. That's all that is. Don't fill in the blanks of what I say. Don't look at me and tell me I'm wrong, because I'm not. I know this. I've studied this out for many, many years. I've got a good handle on what this stuff is. So, if you want, and it's all, it's all predicated on your desire, but if you want, you can see it too, as much as I can, just by using those two simple things I've mentioned. Count your fingers. 2, 1, 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. And your perspective. Where are you standing? Where are you sitting? How are you hearing whatever it is you're hearing? Look at it. Examine it. Hey, and if I've overlooked something, let me know. Let me know. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. That's one place you can email me. And the facts of the facts of the matter are real simple. The mainstream propaganda, or I should say, I'm going to call them what they are, mainstream propagandists. They lie, they cheat, they steal, they deceive. That's what they do. That's their job. So don't believe them. Turn them off. Turn them off, because they're a bunch of liars. So that's one thing. The other thing is, examine everything, even in the independent alternative media outlets. And if they've missed something, don't hate them. Don't make fun of them. Just present it to them. Just say, hey, look, you said this, but I found something additional. How about that? Why not? We all got to cooperate together, don't we? We're all looking at the same information, aren't we? Volkswagen Beetle. Okay, check that metaphor out. I mean, we're all looking at it. So, anyway, I wanted to mention that in this little brief podcast here from my website at WayneSPierce.com. If you have any questions, of course, you can email me from the website, WayneSPierce.com. If my voice sounds a little rough this morning, I kind of like it. I don't know. What do you think? So anyway, folks, go check out my podcasts Monday through Saturday, the American Liberty Radio Network podcast. And I talk more about this stuff. I talk more about what's in the headlines. I give you what's up. I stick your nose underneath the tent and show you what's behind the curtain and who's pushing the buttons and pulling the handles, and give you some insight as to what I see from there as well. But for now, folks, let me just plainly put it this way. Consider your perspective and what your perception truly is. And so think about that one for a minute. Folks, this is American Liberty Radio Network. This is Wayne S. Pierce, WayneSPierce.com, and American Liberty Radio Network, sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.